Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ulrike and I'm a K-beauty and skincare content creator and just general skincare enthusiast. And one of the things that I'm especially enthusiastic about is trying to hype up products from Korean brands, Korean beauty brands that I feel are just kind of underrepresented here in the Western English-speaking skinfluencer community or world, while they're actually quite popular in Korea. And I'm always very puzzled with certain products that I think are fantastic and that I know are trending or popular in Korea, why they never seem to be hyped up by the larger name skinfluencers, and I feel more people need to know about them. So here are 5, in my opinion, woefully underrated K-beauty products that I want to introduce you to today. Now, I have spoken about this first product, I think at least twice before on my channel. I really have a deep, deep love for this product, and I don't quite understand why it's not more hyped up. This entire skincare range is very popular in Korea, although to be fair, one also has to remember that the brand that I'm going to talk about now is actually an Olive Young in-house brand. So Olive Young, of course, kind of pushes it quite aggressively as well, which then, of course, makes more people be aware of the brand. Anyway, either way, it is a fantastic product. You have seen it on the channel before, and it is the Bioheal Panthenol Cica Blemish Ampoule. And it is this. This really, to me, is one of the best Cica products I know, hands down. The first time I tried this was in 2019. My mom brought me a double pack of this. This was the older formulation, which still had fragrance in it, and I think even alcohol from what I remember. But despite that, I fell in love with it so much. I just feel that the quality of the Cica is really high. It contains 50% Centella asiatica extract, plus all sorts of Centella asiatica compounds, so asiaticoside, madecassoside, medicassic acid, all of the compounds, all of them. I have listed them in my notes, but anyway, I think I said them all. Asiatic acid as well, all of them. And also, apart from the 50% Centella asiatica plus the compounds, this has 10% panthenol, which is a great soothing ingredient. So this is just an overall very soothing, skin calming serum. This also contains hydrating ingredients. It is a very hydrating serum, to me at least. Hyaluronic acid, glycerin are the main ones. Plus it contains sunflower seed oil, which is a moisturizing ingredient. It has this really rich, sort of more creamy gel texture. I always feel this does a little bit of more of a moisturizing job than other gel serums that I know. A little bit reminiscent of the Cellemax Noni probably. Cellemax Noni ampoule, that green ampoule, which I also really like. That one too, I feel, because it contains shea butter, is more than just a hydrating serum. It is really almost moisturizing, but still has the lightness of the gel texture. And I feel this is the same with this serum or ampoule. You know, ampoule and serum is kind of always, it's kind of the same. I think in general in K-beauty, an ampoule is more of a concentrated serum with more potent active ingredients, but it still is pretty much interchangeably used as a serum. This ampoule to me just always feels a little bit richer, but again, because it is still a gel texture, light enough for anyone with combo skin or even oily skin. In fact, I would say this is a great serum if you have oily skin or even acne prone skin, because of all of its anti-inflammatory centella goodness, Plus, the Panthenol is also always a good addition when you have oily skin, when you have inflamed skin. One of the problems with acne is that very often you tend to have a damaged skin barrier, which means that your skin is more redness prone, more inflammation prone, more infection prone. And this really does such a fantastic job just calming everything down. Thus, I would say it's also really good for sensitive skin and if you have general skin barrier issues. Now, interestingly enough, I would still also, even though I say it's super good for oily skin, I would also still, in addition to that, recommend it for dry skin because, as I said, it still has a little bit more than just a basic hydrating serum when it comes to giving back moisture to the skin. And if you're severely dehydrated, if you have really tight skin, this is just so beautiful because, again, it feels kind of almost creamy while still being very light. It also absorbs beautifully into the skin. I usually reach for this when my skin is very red. At the moment, this is the case because the pollen count has just shot up because we've had a few sunny days here in southern Germany. And I have all these angry red patches all over my skin. Sometimes you can even see them in videos. In my last 2 videos, I noticed them because no matter what makeup I use, you will always kind of see them shine through. It's beautiful. But this is kind of one of those SOS serums that I reach for that really does a good job calming that down. Maybe never completely, but I can see quite a bit of a difference. So yeah, why is this not getting hyped up more? It's soothing, it's calming, it supports skin barrier health. It's great for pretty much all skin types for different reasons. Because it moisturizes, it still feels like a light gel, so it works great for oily skin. The texture is so pleasant and beautiful. It's a really just solid product, you know. I think maybe one of the reasons why it's not super hyped is because it can be a little bit expensive. As I said, this is a CJ / Olive Young. CJ is like the big chaebol, the big conglomerate behind Olive Young. So this is a CJ in-house, Olive Young in-house brand. And for that, I do think price-wise, it's sometimes a little bit pricey. I would only get the BOH stuff if they are on sale. You can often find value packs where you get 1+1. And if those are on sale, if those are discounted, you can get a really good deal on these. This is a 30 ml bottle. So for that, I do think sometimes it's a little bit, a tad overpriced, I find, for a drugstore brand. On the other hand, quality-wise, I just think it's really there when it comes to quality, and I just think it's a really outstanding product. As for the second product that I think is quite underrated outside of Korea, it's interesting because it is a toner pad, and I have been known to sometimes be a little bit annoyed by toner pads. I don't know if I always necessarily like them or find them necessary, especially a lot of exfoliating toner pads. I feel don't really exfoliate, and sometimes I'm just not sure if they are needed. However, if there is a really good toner pad, then I'm all for it. And this toner pad that I want to talk about, I have talked about this one before as well, a couple of times in fact. This one is a really good one in my book. And it is the WELLAGE Real Cica Big Embo Toner Pad. Real Cica Calming Big Embo Toner Pad. It comes in this green green pot. So WELLAGE, really popular brand in Korea. The product that made them go viral were their capsules, their hyaluronic acid capsules. I'm in two minds about WELLAGE. I've tried products that I felt were a little bit meh, and those are usually the overhyped ones. At the moment, I'm trying their blue hyaluronic acid serum. Honestly, That one, I'm kind of me. I don't quite get the hype. It's a very, very simple hyaluronic acid serum. I mean, price-wise, it's pretty good because it's a 100 ml bottle and you can often snatch it up on sale, but it just is very simple. And those hyaluronic acid capsules, I always felt were okay, but a little bit overhyped. Now these toner pads, can't hype them up enough. At the moment, I would say they're pretty much my #1 favorite toner pads. I reach for these all the time. The reason why I really like them is because, first of all, I can actually tell when I use them consistently. The exfoliation is very mild, but it is noticeable. This contains PHA, so gluconolactone. PHAs are a gentler type of acid, works really well if you have sensitive skin. And in general, they're better tolerated than AHAs and do kind of the same thing. I've read a couple of articles that say that PHAs just aren't as good at sort of renewing skin and helping cell turnover and making skin smooth and beautiful. Having used both, I honestly prefer PHA and have seen better results when it comes to renewing skin, making it look more youthful, and especially glowier. With PHA, I see better results than with AHAs and glycolic acid in particular. So I'm a super fan of PHAs. And this also contains LHA. And LHA is quite an interesting acid to me because it is supposedly a gentler alternative to BHA. It is a salicylic acid derivative, and L'Oreal apparently has it patented. I'm guessing, I never know how this works because WELLAGE is definitely not a L'Oreal brand. I guess they maybe like sell the rights to use the patented ingredient. I don't know how that works, but anyway, a couple of Korean brands use LHA. Another one is Revectin. And I've tried the Revectin ampoule that contains LHA, and I've tried these. I really like what LHA does. I feel it has better anti-inflammatory properties. And I do also feel that for me, with my mature skin, it seems to do a better job clearing out pores without getting too much of the sebum out. Sometimes with BHA, I now feel that it is a little bit too strong for me and tends to sort of dry out my skin a little bit too much, whereas this seems just a little bit more gentle in its pore clearing action. Since this has Cica in the name, you will probably not be surprised to hear that it also contains Centella asiatica extract. Duh. And just like the Cica Panthenol ampoule from Bioheal, this also contains all of the derivatives pretty much. So a good mix of Cica ingredients. And it contains glycerin for a little bit of hydration, which I do always notice when I use this. My skin always feels very relaxed, very nicely hydrated after using it. And as I said, I also do feel that it has a noticeable smoothing action. I think this one is perfect as a skin prep step when you want to use makeup. I now always use this, especially before, shooting a video or when I actually need to look good in my makeup. If someone actually sees me during the day, social hermit that I am, I usually use this before I put on makeup because it really noticeably helps to smooth down skin and just create this smoother canvas, especially around the nose. I see a huge difference. So I'm really a convert, I guess, when it comes to exfoliating pads, just because of this one. In all truth, I think this one is better than the hyped up Cosrx, the red pads, because it just combines the goodness, the soothing and calming goodness of Cica with very gentle but noticeable exfoliation. So it's hydrating, it's soothing, it's calming. It's also fragrance and alcohol free, so it's very respectful of your sensitivities. It's great, I think, I think it would be a great one for sensitive skin who might overreact with stronger and more aggressive acids. And it just leaves your skin really glowy and beautiful. More people need to try this. Now, this next product comes from a Korean brand that is actually not necessarily popular in Korea. This is one of those brands that predominantly produces and markets to the Western skincare market. Nevertheless, I really like this brand. I think their products are just really effective. They're very understated, very minimalist, and I just really like them for their simplicity. And it is the Vegreen 730 or 730 Daily Moisture Cream, which is this one. Look, I'm starting to figure out my zoom. I'm very excited, my autofocus. Slowly but surely. So Vegreen, as I said, it's a Korean indie brand. I don't even know if they do sell in Korea. I'm not sure. But they certainly are very keen to appeal to the Western market. This is a strategy that a lot of smaller Korean brands follow. I think there's this misunderstanding sometimes that the reason why some indie brands directly go to the Western market is because they don't have any chance of being successful in Korea. I think this is pretty much nonsense, and I don't know where this myth comes from, because there are plenty of very small indie brands like Torridon, for instance, that are very, very successful in Korea, and that were successful in Korea first and then went into Western markets. Most Korean brands do not need the Western market. If any foreign market is interesting to Korean brands, it would be the Chinese market, because that's a much more homogeneous group of people that you can market towards and sell towards. That is so much more appealing in terms of number of people that all kind of roughly have the same type of culture versus, for instance, going to Europe with all its different countries and different cultural norms, I guess. But Vegreen, one of those brands, Bar Cosmetics would be another one that comes to mind, that exclusively pretty much sell to America and especially Europe. I actually worked on a sponsored blog post with Vegreen. They were really nice people to work with. And the good thing was that I wrote a review blog post for them. So it was a paid advertorial about this cream, but it was after I'd already tested it and just really loved it. So I basically just had to write a fully honest rave of the product and got paid for it. That worked out well because, I wouldn't sell my opinion, but since I already loved the product, I was like, well, this is fine because I just have to be honest. Here's the reason why I really like this cream. At first glance, it seems very simple. And simple in a way that might make you think, do I need this? This is like, it seems a bit boring, right? When I got the cream and read the ingredient list, I actually thought, I don't think I'm gonna like this. I think this is A, boring, and B, I also thought, before I opened the tube, I thought this would be a really thick kind of cream, very sort of unappealing texture. Au contraire, this is so nice. The texture of this really surprised me. It isn't a thick cream at all. It isn't unpleasant or coarse or any of those things. It has this really smooth, almost fluid-like texture that for my combo skin feels really perfect. Almost lotiony, very, very lightweight, but it definitely, you can tell that it is very moisturizing. The main ingredients here are glycerin and squalane, super simple but very effective moisturizing and hydrating ingredients that pretty much work for all skin types. And otherwise, there isn't much to this cream. It is a really basic minimalist formula. It's also alcohol-free and fragrance-free, like most Vegreen products. And for me, this works really well if you have very sensitive skin, if you kind of have hyperreactive skin, if you want something sensitive skin friendly, especially if you're more on the normal to oily side, because it isn't too overpowering or too nourishing. This also works for dry skin, in my opinion, because it still is very moisturizing. I reach for this a lot when my skin is just kind of having a freak out, when nothing else will work. But even just in general, I reach for this so much because it just does its job so well. It is simple, but it's simple in a good way. And it's simple in a good way that I feel not many products are anymore. It's almost like one of those French pharmacy brands that really just do the job and that are just super reliable. And you don't have to worry about having any sort of ghostly sudden reactions to the product because there's just nothing in there that could really trigger you. I mean, you always can have, you know, personal sensitivities, but overall, most skin types and most people should tolerate this very well. I think it's also a really great one for men who sometimes don't want sort of overcomplicated skincare. It also has sort of that unisex look. And yeah, Vegreen, a great brand. Not all of their products always convince me, but this one is probably one of my absolute favorite products from them, hands down, and really just beautiful. This is my second tube, so yes, I really do like this a lot. When I just grabbed this third, or are we on number fourth product for today, I realized that apparently I have a huge love for Cica products at the moment, because this is the third Cica product that I'm recommending today. Maybe I should have just done a dedicated Cica recommendation video, but anyway, it turned out this way, because I do think a lot of Cica products are quite underrated, whereas others that I don't really think are that great get overhyped, so still kind of fits the theme. This one is another moisturizer, but it is very different from the Vegreen one. It is from a brand that I also think in general is surprisingly underrepresented in Western / English speaking influencer content about K-beauty, given that the brand is hyper popular in Korea and the brand is just so wonderful. I have not had a bad product from this brand. The brand is Make Prem or Make Prem. Never know how to pronounce that properly. Let's stick to Make Prem for now until someone corrects me. And the product is the Make Prem Inteca Soothing Cream, which for some reason looks very dirty. Oh well, what can I do? I use it a lot. It comes in this green bottle. I think this is the right, no, this is the right way. It comes in this green bottle. The Inteca skincare line, very popular in Korea at the moment. They brought out the cream first, but now they also have an ampoule and a toner that is sort of trending at the moment. Really interesting skincare range. The main ingredient, the key ingredient here is Teca or Teca probably, complex. Teca is an acronym that stands for titrated extract of Centella asiatica. I have talked about Teca before when I talked about the Centellian 24 serum in my last video, because Centellian 24 became famous for its use of Teca in their products. And now Make Prem also uses Teca in this range. The reason why Teca is seen as sort of the gold standard for Centella asiatica is because supposedly it is a more potent, complex of a variety of different Centella asiatica compounds, and supposedly is almost medical grade from what I've heard. So it really has proven wound, I don't want to say wound healing because maybe I get into trouble saying that, but I think sort of it offers a boost when it comes to wound healing properties of the skin. That's how I understood it. And of course, it also brings all the other good things in terms of what Centella asiatica can do for your skin: soothing, anti-inflammatory, It helps, especially with acne breakouts, to just let them heal off faster and more effectively. And it is also great if you have reactive skin, redness prone skin, etc., etc. I don't even have to tell you anymore why Cica is such a great ingredient. Now back to this cream. This one, I was surprised by this one. When I ordered it, and I ordered it in a special set, so I have another smaller tube of this as well. Of course, one of those value sets from Olive Young. I thought this would be more like a balm. I almost expected it to be a little bit like, texture-wise, like the Cica Plus balm from La Roche-Posay. But it is not like that at all. It's very light. It almost has a bit of a cooling sensation on the skin. It feels like a very light, very, I don't know how to describe it, but almost like one of those those liquid plasters that you sometimes get that you spray on your face that kind of seal off wounds, like a gel that feels very smooth. I think that's what I'm looking for, that adjective, that it has a very smooth texture that just kind of glides onto skin and you don't feel any sort of heaviness with it. The cooling sensation in particular is what I think makes this such a great product for reactive skin, for inflamed skin, and for skin that is just kind of overheated. I actually can't wait to see how this will perform once the really hot weather hits here in the southwest of Germany, which it will likely do come June, July. Because I feel this will be just so beautiful when my skin starts getting angry at me for it being so hot. Apart from the Inteca key ingredient, it also contains glycerin, hyaluronic acid, so it is a hydrating gel cream, and sunflower seed oil, plus a little bit of niacinamide for skin barrier health, for brightening, etc., etc., pore care as well. And I just really love how soothing this is. For me, one of those SOS creams when my skin is just, again, having a freak out. The way I prefer to use this actually, because I do kind of think it's not super moisturizing. So as a standalone moisturizer for my mature skin, it isn't enough anymore. I think in my 20s, I could have used this maybe as a standalone moisturizer. But yeah, don't expect too much moisturizing properties from it. I like to actually use this like almost like a sleeping cream. So as an extra moisturizer on top of another cream or gel, and just to seal off everything at night. When I do use it like that, the next day my skin is noticeably calmer, less inflamed, and just in general really smooth and lovely. I feel this really could work for a lot of people. Again, people with reactive skin, with redness-prone skin. It's also a fragrance and alcohol-free cream. Most of the Make Prem products are alcohol and fragrance-free. So I do think it's a very sensitive, skin-friendly brand. And if you have acne-prone skin, blemishes, you could also consider using this, because I just feel it works a lot better at calming down skin without being too oily or being too overwhelmingly nourishing compared to a lot of other Cica balms that I've tried. I almost want to say this could be a good alternative for the Cica Plus balm as well, if that one tends to break you out, because this one doesn't contain any shea butter or other super heavy ingredients. And again, the texture is just, oh, it's so pleasant, especially that cooling sensation is just a godsend when you have inflamed skin. This is a really, really great Cica product. For the last product, I decided on a makeup product. Now, I don't talk as much about makeup on this channel, predominantly because I don't really trust in my own abilities to do makeup. So I always feel, who am I to talk about anything related to makeup? Because I just don't think I'm very skilled when it comes to applying makeup. So I tend to kind of avoid the subject a little bit. However, I really, really want to see more hype for these particular products, and they are these ones in this really cool packaging. I love the packaging for these. And you may have already seen them on my channel because I have hyped them up before. And the brand is called Hince, and it's the Hince Mood Enhancer Liquid Matte. These are lip tints, and Hince, another brand that is super popular, super hyped, super trendy in Korea. Outside of Korea, surprisingly, very few people seem to talk about them. As of now, this might change, but I don't see them mentioned a lot. And it is really surprising because the products just are so unique and interesting. The reason why Hince, I think, is so successful is because they offer a different color palette than the usual sort of muted, always kind of either rosy or a little bit sort of beigey, corally colors for lips. Also for eyeshadows, they might have a green color in there or an orange color or something a little bit more unique compared to what can be a little bit same old when it comes to Korean makeup. The reason why these just really amazed me is because there's a couple of reasons. The main one I would say is because they really have superb staying power. I was just so amazed when I used this for the first time that they really lasted so well on my lips compared to other Korean, especially matte lip tints. So this is a matte finish, but it isn't too sort of powdered matte. Sometimes I find with matte lipsticks or lip tints that they can make my lips look very flat, especially I feel, again, for more mature skin types. We have to be a little bit careful with the matte lips because it can look a little bit aging, but these ones have more of a semi-soft, sort of moussey type matteness to them that I find very flattering and just very beautiful. There's a blurriness to them that I just really, really like. So the staying power is really good, but also the pigmentation really impressed me. I really do like, for instance, the Peri Pera, what are they called? The velvet lip tints. I actually wear one of those today. So this is a Peri Pera one. But sometimes I do feel you have to apply quite a lot and you have to kind of move them around a little bit, almost with your finger. I always tend to like do this tapping technique with the Peri Pera ones because they kind of are a little bit patchy, I find. I mean, they're very affordable. So for that, the quality to me is really, really good. But with the Hince one, I feel they just have a more even pigmentation and a better texture overall, a better formula when you apply them. And again, once they dry down, they really do stay on so well. And at the same time, I don't find them drying. So really, they do everything right that you would want to get right with a lip product. And they're smooth, they're creamy, they really have a beautiful finish. And yeah, I really love and enjoy them so much. I also really like the color palette of these because again, they offer a little bit of a different shade range. They've got just really unique colors. It's very hard to describe, but yeah, so there's a berry tone there that I'm kind of having my eye on. And they have really beautiful beige toned colors as well. I have two of them at the moment. I really want more, to be honest. One is Hatch Out, which is sort of a brick style beige, and Own Skin, which is more of a corally beige. Both are just beautiful. And yeah, Hince is a brand that if I were you, I would keep in mind because I do think they will probably become more popular in the West. And just, I really am very impressed with the quality of these. So those were my 5 underrated products for the beginning of 2023. I think there will probably be more as the year progresses because again, I feel there's just so much that I'm always puzzled as to why I just don't understand why certain products don't really seem to reach a wider audience, why so many large name skinfluencers, I don't want to criticize them, but I do sometimes find it just surprising that so many large name skinfluencers at some point in their career just kind of stop trying new things and kind of stick to the same old 3 influencer supported brands like Cosrx, Skin 1004, Access Y is another one. Those are all great brands, but I just feel like there's more, you know, there's more. Dr. G, Make Prem, Hince, all of these great brands that Koreans themselves are pretty crazy about at the moment. I just kind of want to see them hyped up more. So I'm trying to do my part as a smaller creator, and maybe I help to discover some new interesting gems for your skincare vanity. If you did find this video helpful, I would be so happy if you could give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, it would be great if you could consider subscribing to my channel. I am very strongly trying to grow it, and it is not easy. But I'm doing my best, and I hope maybe you got something useful out of the video and might be more interested now in more content from me. I always do a weekly video, so I will see you again next week. Feel free to leave a comment, share your ideas and your experiences with any of the products. And yeah, I see you again next week. And until then, please do take care.